Turn the mic up. This is legacy emotion. For vision of victory, trailblazing the path. Mind sharp, words heavy, every bar got class. Iconic by nature, pioneer by design. History in the making every time she aligns. Doctorate dreams, but the roots run deep. Built from the grind, now the whole world speaks. Culture, purpose, power when she steps in the room. Drop gems so real, make the future zoom. Yeah.
This is iconic pioneers. Hear the story unfold, where the fearless lead and the truth gets told. Every voice legendary, every lesson precise. Often with wisdom, Dr. Tabitha Russell on the mic. Press play. Stay ready. The movement starts now.
Welcome, everyone, to the Iconic Pioneers podcast, the space where disruptors, trailblazers, and bold thinkers gather to rewrite the rules of success. I'm your host, Dr. Tabitha Russell, and on this show, we will go deep with those who aren't afraid to lead differently, those who build legacy, impact, and authority that echoes for generations. Can I say on today, I am super excited to be interviewing Dr. LeTasha Coleman. Can I just say that she is a powerhouse? Welcome in, Dr. Coleman.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, I am so excited for this interview on today. Can you share with people who you are and what you do?
I sure can. So, good morning. Hi, I am Dr. LeTasha Robinson Coleman, but you just see Dr. Coleman on screen. But I am a motivator, encourager. I have been through a lot, but I'm learning survivorship is a vibe. And so being a survivor so much, it is my goal and my whole, I feel like part of my who I am to help motivate others that what you went through is a pause. It's not a period. It's a pause. It's something that you have to learn from to be able to get through so that you can get the healing that you need in order to grow and rise. So I am the founder of Kingdom Motivations, that our pillars are heal, grow, and rise. And in this, I'm helping others to understand that healing is part of your testimony, because once you are healed, you can then grow and rise.
Yes, I love it. You said survivorship is a vibe. Yes. I will say I absolutely love that. So what does being an iconic leader mean to you personally?
Being an iconic leader means that there's not always a roadmap. That means you will be sometimes in a place where you are going to have to actually be the one that will be a pioneer to go through what is unknown to others. A lot of times we live by the world, I'm going to get you before you get me. I'm going to hurt you before you hurt me. But when you are in a place of no longer just understanding that you need to get others before they get you, then you understand that I'm providing the roadmap for somebody else who may not be as strong to be able to overcome the issues and the situation that they have gone through. So because of that, I am now a pioneer. I am now in a place to be an iconic pioneer because I am providing a roadmap for somebody else to be able to take the descriptions. Okay, this happened. This is what I may need to do in order to be able to get to the next level. So I'm here. When I hear iconic pioneer, I hear that I am somebody that is going to help provide the roadmap for unknown areas that needs to be ventured through so that I can provide a map and a guide on how they can get through.
Yes. Come on. Listening to you, I know that you have had the opportunity to navigate many areas in life. And it sounds like that you are super connected to your purpose. So tell us about a defining moment when you realized that you weren't built to follow the crowd.
Now that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question. And I am going to say I always tell people cancer I got diagnosed with breast cancer at 39. And at that point I was fighting a lot, fighting who I was called to be, who was this in me. I was so busy trying to identify with others that I failed to identify with myself. So cancer started the catalyst, but it wasn't until October the 28th of 2020 that I was told you are officially in remission. That is when it kind of hit home. One of my pins I have, it says survivorship is a vibe. And it was at that moment once I realized that I had been through so much, attempted suicide several times, domestic violence, relationships, and different things of that nature. And but it was when my back was against the wall. I had nothing to turn to. Cancer, for many people, when they hear that, they hear, you know, the end. A lot of people experience with cancer is not positive. So once I heard that information that I was officially in remission, I remember being at my oncologist's office. It was during the midst of COVID, and they have a bell on the outside. So COVID, because it was a lot of unknown in 2020, I had to, quote unquote, ring the bell on the outside. And so I remember somebody took my picture, and I was sharing it with others, and they was like, "Why you didn't? We would have been there." And I was like, "I didn't even know I was going to be told this." Because the key thing of it, once they took my left breast, the key thing was if it went to the next level, I was going to have to do a series of rounds of chemo and radiation. And it did go to the next level, but they thought they caught it in time. So we did another form of treatment to control it, but they also allowed me to go ahead and start the remission. And so when I was sitting in my car and I was just remembering the last 4 months, how, going from being diagnosed with breast cancer to that point, I realized that I'm here for a purpose that was unknown to me, and that I had been so busy fighting that I realized that God has me here for a reason, and either I can embrace it or I can continue to fight it. And I decided at that point to start embracing it.
That is not something that, is easy to navigate and to persevere through. But I just know, a little part of your journey in that you have had the opportunity to now be on the other side of this. And I know that, throughout the course of time, there's a lot of things that we as the average person, have to go through and navigate. So that in itself is a whole journey by itself. So definitely congratulations on being in remission and still continuing to now, help others to navigate that. But I know that outside of that every leader faces some resistance, right? There's some things that you go through and you just breeze by and it was like, oh, that was easy, right? And then there's other times that there are some things that becomes an obstacle for you. So what's another example of an obstacle that almost broke you, and how did you overcome it?
I'll tell you, you come with loaded questions. I'll tell you that. I think for me, I can't just identify one point because it's been so many. And I don't say that lightly. But over time, having to, Maya Angelou said it best, once a person shows you who they are, believe them. Mm-hmm. And for me, I thought for so many years that I needed the love and admiration of my biological family. So those of you who don't know, I did grow up in foster care, and I met my birth mother when I turned 15. And so I remember I was 16 years old, and I was like, we was having this conversation. And so she was like, you want to know why I gave you up? And I was like, yeah, in my head, I had this preconceived notion. She gave me up. So she wanted to have me to have a better life and stuff like that. So I was like, I rattled out. I'm like, yeah, I already know you gave me up so I can have this better life. And, da 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 da. So I had this Cosby Show definition of why she gave me up. And she was like, no, I just didn't want you. And at 16, those words sit with me for a long time. I remember even with my foster parents, me and my foster mother had gotten into it, and she said those same words. She said, your mama didn't want you, and I don't want you either. So hearing that and having that constantly replay in my life, a lot of times almost broke me, because I always thought that the world would be better off without me. Because I'm like, if the person who carried you for that time to birth you out in this world doesn't want you, who else, would want somebody that's, hey, if you didn't want me, who else would? So for me, that was one of the defining moments in my life that I really had to learn how to overcome, because two people that I had held in high admiration, and some people were like, well, how can you hold your birth mother if that was your first time meeting her? Because I knew when I found out I was 8 years old and I found out I was adopted, I always had her on this pedestal. In my head, she gave me up because she wanted me to have a better life, and to hear that tore me down. And for a long time, I lived in a place where I only allowed people to get but so far. And it took going through cancer to be able to break that wall down and realize that, she may not have wanted me. My foster mother may not have wanted me at times, but I know somebody, and I knew a God, and it took going through cancer for me even to say that I have the relationship that I have now with God. Because oftentimes we treat God like man, and I'm like, God, I love you. I'm doing this. I'm going to church. I'm doing this. But I can honestly say my heart was not always open to God in certain areas. I don't allow him in. So it took going through a process of having cancer to actually let him in and allow him to be God in my life.
Yes.
So that was the moment that almost broke me.
I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you, and I'm like really, really just taking this in, because, from the outside looking in, you make doing life look real good, right? Through all the things that you've been through being a kingdom motivator and just really walking in your purpose. I know that there's a lot of ebbs and flows for the average person, but to experience some of these things at such an early age in life, it has a whole new meaning, right? It hits a little different when you understand, like, that was my then, but this is now. And I know that, some people are looking like, wow, all of that. And still you're keeping going. So how do you balance building wealth and influence and impact without sacrificing your authenticity?
I embrace my authenticity. That's a hard word for me to say. I'm from the country, girl. But I embrace who I am. I feel like once you embrace who you are, you stop trying to hide behind a rock or who somebody think that you are or who you should be called to. It's easy to embrace who you are. Once I came in and say, hey, this is what you're gonna get. You may not like it, but this is what you're gonna get. And I'm not putting on no airs or anybody. Like, somebody was like, Latasha, you know, I embrace all me. I have lips. It's some words that I am not going to even try to say because it comes out another way. But I learned to embrace me. I learned like what people might consider flaws and all. I embrace who I am, and I just allow that to be part of who I am when I tell my story. I know nobody can tell my story as much as I can and as best as I can. So I just learned how to embrace my flaws. It's nothing about no trying to be perfect, just being me.
Yeah, I believe that being who you are is at the core of allowing us to really be able to go forward in what we're called to do. And it clears up all the roads, right? Any blockage in the road along the way. So, what's a myth about leadership or success that you believe needs to be dismantled immediately?
That you don't need anybody. As a leader, you need people. If you're leading, no one is following, as my pastor like to say, you're just taking a walk. To be a iconic leader, to be a leader of influence and impact, you must be leading someone, and those that you lead are those that a lot of time have been drawn to you. But if you're not making disciples, if you're not helping somebody to build them up, then what are you actually doing? So that myth that you don't need anybody once you get to the top, suicide, most of the people that commit suicide at one point in time, and the highest percentile was those that had made it. They had money, but when you get to the top and you don't have anybody, you don't sacrifice everybody, all your relationship, to get that one little thing of a title and stuff, and you look back and there's nobody there to enjoy with you, to pat you on your back. You realize that it can be lonely at the top. So that myth that you don't need anyone definitely needs to be dismantled and dismissed, because you're not an island. We are designed to grow with people.
I love that. I always say that a leader needs a leader, a coach needs a coach, and a motivator needs a motivator, right? Because it helps
Yes.
us along the way, and it helps us to identify those blind spots, get a blueprint or a cheat sheet to be able to move forward. It definitely does allow us to be able to walk in the best version of ourselves possible by having somebody there along with us on the journey. So, your success leaves clues. What daily habits or rituals keep you operating at that iconic level?
I journal, meditation, and daily devotion. I learned if you command your day early in the morning, it does help set your day. So I'm journaling, even if it's not like some people like, oh, I got to journal every day. So I sometimes it's not in my bandwidth to journal every day. But embracing it and knowing that it's there. Having that daily talk with God. I don't get on my knees and be like, oh, Holy Father, and most of the time my relationship and I'm praying to God, it's like, you know what, God, I don't know about this. It's like a whole conversation. And so that is one of the things. I'll tell anybody, the one thing that I value the most is my relationship with God, my ability to be able to talk with him, to and just to hear from him. And when that is good, even in the midst of everything looking bad, if I hear him in the midst of the storm and say, I got you, that provides the peace that I need. So talking to God, praying, having those conversations, and then just learning. And some days I might, need a hug, and but my husband, get up, because he's a night owl, so he sleep a lot of time when I woke, and I get up, I need a hug, and so definitely just tapping in. But that is, sometimes just that affirmation, daily affirmation. It may, not might be journaling that day, it might be self-awareness, it might be a little bit of need a hug, but knowing what you need at the time and being able to pivot, so that you can feel the voice, because not every day you wake up and you feel like journaling, but you need your love tank full. So being able to just pivot and meet those 4 love languages, because we identify with 1 or 2, but in all actuality, we need all 4 in order to be whole. So I might need that touch. I might need a note or something like that. But affirmation, whatever I need at that moment, is about tapping in and being able to grow from what I need so I can get through the day.
Absolutely. And I know that sometimes that can be multiple things throughout the day. So knowing that definitely does make a great difference. So I know that legacy is more than wealth. What legacy are you intentionally creating for others to be able to follow?
Is that you can survive. That is the legacy I want to continue to live and continue to influence others. Growing up and having such a bleak um, future painted for me, it was very hard at me at times to realize that success and that I can have a good future. I can have a loving husband that loves me. I can have a house. I can have a car. Just the simple things in life. Um, I thought that I always had to work for something. I thought that if I couldn't offer something, that people wasn't going to want me in their life and or have me in their life. So I constantly find myself in a place where I was constantly doing for others and constantly putting myself on the back burner. And so growing from that way and getting into survivorship and letting that be a vibe is more so of letting other people know you survived it. And it's okay. You don't have to have survivor's remorse. You don't have to down yourself because you survived it, but you can embrace your survivorship and help others to learn it's okay to survive. It's okay to live beyond what people thought about you, what people thought you would never make. And it's okay. So I want to leave that legacy. It's okay to survive it, but it's also okay to go beyond it, go beyond survivor. So I was at a point where I was just surviving, but now I feel like I'm going beyond survivor, and I'm learning how to embrace and just do and help others learn how to embrace their survivorship.
Yes, I love that. And I know that that can be, everything when you are processing through life and the various different things that it has to offer. So we talk a lot about leadership, luxury, and legacy here on the show. So, how do you personally define luxury as a leader for yourself?
Luxury is defined that of having a good supporting network that supports you. Luxury, a lot of times people look at the things that you have. But once again, you can have all the things in the world, but if you don't have somebody there to share it, if you don't have anybody that you influence to grow beyond their current situation, that right there can be detrimental. So therefore, luxury to me is how do your circle look like? What does your circle look like? Because if you have a solid circle, then luxury you already have it. So the outside stuff, the nice cars and the nice house and all that is an added bonus. But you are luxury in the circle that you have because you have love. You have people that see beyond the wealth and they see you.
Absolutely. Like I believe that luxury is definitely does not have to be in the top three things as far as wealth is concerned, right? But luxury is self-care. It's also, those
Mhm,
affirmations that you were talking about, right? Like it's a
mhm,
luxury to be able to do some of the things or have clients that you help and motivate others and mentor and train them. That is a luxury, right? And I
mhm.
definitely know that with that, though, it comes with levels of responsibility. Well, having added responsibilities outside of your normal stuff can be a luxury as well, because
Mhm.
people have choices nowadays, and so when they choose you, that is a luxury. So tell
Yes.
me, because I know that you do multiple things within your business and your ecosystem. What's one of the boldest risks that you've ever taken in your career, and how did it reshape your trajectory?
Okay. So this actually just recently. Once again, coming from that mindset, never going to have stuff. So I realized that I was giving away a lot of stuff that I could have been prospering from. So I was at a place where I was talking to one of my friends, and one of my friends said, "If I was as smart as you, I would." Da, 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 da. And I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about? Like, and you're like, "Tasha, you're selling yourself short. You're always selling yourself short." And I'm sitting here like, okay, so I'm in class, of course, on Monday nights we in class with Dr. T. And so when she put some stuff to us, some homework. We always normally have homework. So, in the midst of this homework I was doing, and we had to list like 5 things that we can launch starting in April. So this was at the beginning of January, the beginning of the year. So I'm sitting up here doing my homework, and I had all these little ideas, and I heard God say, "You got all these ideas. What are you gonna actually do? What are you trying to do? And he was like, and I heard it again. So I realized that even though I wanted to get out of the situation of poverty, I also had to embrace that I was repeating cycles of poverties because I was not doing anything different. I was so used to giving out stuff for free. And that came from that mindset of being that 8-year-old that felt like she needed to do stuff in order to have people in her life. So in order to, people love free stuff. But a lot of times when you put a price to it, then they don't want to be your friends no more. They don't want to, embrace you anymore. So I learned to just give away stuff for free, regardless if it was money, things, knowledge sharing or whatever, because I would rather have I thought I needed the relationship and more than what I needed the money to pay the bills. So that actually this on last week, somebody asked me to normally when I'm at events, I'm normally the person that's going around taking pictures, like, get with this person, do this, do that. And so somebody was like, you really need to start charging people. And I'm like, and they're like, no, you really need to start charging people. And so I did it this time, and then somebody reached out to me, and without hesitation, I sent them the necessary information to be able to book, as well as deposit information, and letting them know that if you do not meet this, your slot is not fulfilled without your deposit, and your deposit is non-refundable. So I was so proud of myself because that's something that I have never done. Normally I'm like, oh, I do it. Don't worry about it. But I was like, I'm repeating cycles of poverty, and I'm not going to break this mindset until I do something different. So that is, like I said, just recently. So, I'm 45, and they say you can't teach an old dog a new trick. I ain't no dog, but I'm learning new tricks.
That is awesome. First of all, congratulations on following the process, right? And putting a price tag to your worth, right? That's a part of your value cycle, and it definitely does make a difference. There are quite often times when we've all been there, right? Where we give away everything because we don't understand sometimes the value attached to it, or it's the fear factor, right? In your case, you're saying that it took you way back to that 8-year-old, right? So we're talking about years and years upon compounded thoughts around, I got to give this away so somebody can invite me in and like me, right? So thank you so much for sharing that. That is no longer a cycle and it's broken, right? Sometimes all it takes is that one act of courage, that one act of, let me try something. And, in this season, I've been saying that we are challenging our challenges, right? Whatever that is, we're going to it and through it. And we find that it's so much easier on the other side, but you get to look back to say, oh, that's all that was. Oh, I got this now. I wish y'all would ask me for something because the price just went up, right? So you should have got it while it was free. You should have got it while it was discounted and on sale, because in this next season, look, it's a totally different conversation. So I absolutely love this. And this has been amazing on today. But for those that are listening who feel called to lead, but they question their power, what's your message to them that you want to leave with them?
Do it afraid. That's the message. For so long, I sat in the background thinking that, I needed this, I needed this person, I needed to have this degree, I needed this and I needed that. And I remember couple days ago, actually, somebody was saying, calling me all the titles that I have attained. And, in the natural world, I was working on my doctorate for business. And so I was working on my doctorate in business before I got my doctorate in Christian counseling. And so, but I ended up getting my doctorate in Christian counseling. So they was calling me all my titles, my ministry titles, as well as my natural titles. And so, and she was like, well, what you want me to call you? I said, you call me Tasha. And she was like, no, like, what title do you want me to use? And I said, you can call me Tasha. And I'm saying that to say, for so long, I thought I needed all that to be identified. I thought, and so I had all kind of little reasons why I did not go the extra mile, why I didn't get what I needed to get. But the thing was, I was in fear. So what I did was I equated what I thought I needed, so that fear didn't lock me in and say, okay, until you get that, then you can't do this. So do it afraid. Do it regardless of who's standing with you, but do it because you know that God has led you and called you to do it. And if he led and called you to it, he was able to, and far above and able to do and keep you where he has called you to. So do it afraid. Do it regardless of how you feel, how it looks like, because remember, at the end, all things work together for you because you love God. And I had to embrace that. I had to embrace that. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but that doesn't mean I ain't somebody's cup of tea. So embrace it. Do it afraid.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was really good because I am a firm believer that what you're looking for is looking for you, right? Like people need the
Yes.
solutions that you have to offer and they are looking for you right now. So share with everybody how they can connect with you. And again, remind them, all the things that you do because I know that you do multiple things. So share with them what it is that you do and how they can connect with you.
All right. So I am Dr. Latasha Robinson Coleman. So you can find me. I have a website, Dr. Latasha S. Robinson Coleman, and .com. It's there. That is where I house Kingdom Motivation. Kingdom Motivation is a self-evaluation, a self-awareness of how to get to that next level. I offer individual as well as group sessions that we'll get together and try to get you to that next level. I'm a writer, so I do have several books on well, I'm talking about Facebook, but I have several books on Amazon up under my maiden name, Latasha S. Robinson. And I also write under a pseudonym up under Ella, ELLE, Ross, ROBS. Those My pseudonym is Christian fiction. Got a little spice, but it ain't a lot of spice. You ain't gonna burn your mouth off. But it's a little bit to get a little kick and say, oh, okay. But all my books are geared towards inner healing, going beyond what hurts you. My book, When Life Gives You Lemon, is basically a book about how I determined that, hey, I was given lemon when I was born. It took me at 33 to realize when my birth mother told me she didn't want me, it was when I got my adoption records, and she literally stated that she didn't want me. That's when it clicked. And so when life gives you lemon is about how to get beyond giving a sour lemon at the beginning of life. When sin hits the church, it's dealing with that sin or whatever that's keeping you from having that relationship with God. Then I have two Christian fiction books. Both of them is kind of dealing with my life when it comes to breast cancer. And so I'm about to release my third. I'm doing a re-release of my second book, but doing about to release another book. So find me on Amazon upon the Ella Ross or LeTasha Robinson. Then I have social media. Most platform it is LS Robs. On Facebook it is Latasha S. Coleman. And but I'll tell anybody, if you gonna message me, This is my little tip. Message me on Facebook, because I'm still learning Instagram and TikTok. Definitely don't do nothing on Snapchat. Don't do nothing on Snap. But I'm learning the other social medias. So if you message me on Facebook, you might get a message back before you even finish the message. But if you contact me on that Instagram and stuff, I'm still learning. I'm turning my notifications on, but I get to you. So find me on Facebook.
I love it. And this has definitely been a pleasure. We will have to have you back to do another segment at some future time, because you have so many things in the works, some more books coming out. Congratulations there. But it has definitely been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here on today.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on Iconic Pioneer. And, I'm always blessed to be able to be brought on somebody else's platform that they built just to help elevate it. So I'm very excited for being part of your platform. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, continue to keep leading, keep building, and living your authenticity. It has been real. Thank you so much. Take care.
This is Iconic Pioneers. Hear the story unfold, where the fearless lead and the truth gets told. Every voice legendary, every lesson precise. Often with wisdom, Dr. Tabitha Russell on the mic. Press play.
Stay ready. The movement starts now.